got this. Go. My talk is called Playing for Our Health, and I'm really excited to be here today because I've always thought of student affairs as a beacon of light when it comes to the values of play and health on college campuses across the country. And today I want to share with you the idea that these two values, play and health, are intimately connected. They're intertwined, they're tangled in ways beyond our wildest imaginations. And that reclaiming play as a core part of who we are can transform us, can heal us, and even heal those around us in profound and unexpected ways. When we think about play and health, we usually think about exercise or being active or playing sports. And that's natural. We all know that exercise is healthy for us. We may also think of things like crossword puzzles or board games or Sudoku as ways to keep our minds sharp and healthy as we grow old. But I want to take us in a little different direction. I want us to think of play as a mindset, as almost an inner state of being. And to do that, I think it's helpful to actually extend this word play into this word, playfulness. What does playfulness look like in your life? When was the last time you made a conscious effort to be more playful? What does that even mean? For a few of us, playfulness has always come naturally. We all remember the class clowns. But for the rest of us, the minute we leave childhood, our sense of play is under attack. As adults, we have new expectations, responsibilities, and stress. And whether it's in our workplaces, our schools, or our homes, we're bombarded by pervasive cultures of seriousness and relentless demands for productivity, both of which offset our sense of play. But what if making the conscious choice to be playful is just as important as our genetics, as our environments, as other personal choices like what we eat when it comes to our health, our longevity, our quality of life, and our productivity? Would we be more playful more often? With that question in mind, I want to explore the health benefits of 3 playful qualities or characteristics. Playful quality number 1. This is a picture. This gentleman doesn't look particularly playful. He actually wasn't. He was pretty serious. He was a neuroscientist. And in 1906, he was credited with describing the first case of presenile dementia. His name is Dr. Alois Alzheimer. You may recognize his name. Alzheimer's disease. It's not playful one iota. In fact, it's devastating, and it spreads like wildfire from the patient to the family to the friends. It's tragic. And over the past 100 years, we've come a long way in terms of our understanding of the pathology of this disease. But the same can't be said for treating this disease. We still have a long way to go. What's interesting is that in the 1990s, a new theory came into the limelight, and it's still being restudied and thought about and validated, and it goes like this. Our brains are victims of our routines. We go through our days almost unconsciously. We have our morning routines, our afternoon routines, and our evening routines, and what's happening is our brain, our neurons, our brain cells are beating on the same frequencies all the time. And we know that's not good when it comes to brain health. We know that when our brains aren't being exercised in different ways, that's not good when it comes to prevention and preservation of brain health. So here's the theory. So the theory is that we should be radically, well, maybe not radically, but we should be breaking our routines more often. What does this mean? Well, it might mean taking a different way to work tomorrow, a different way to school. It might mean brushing your teeth with your other hand. or sitting at the dinner table in a different chair, or my favorite, and my wife thinks I do this every morning, getting dressed with your eyes closed. Try it, it's a lot of fun. But the idea is that if we're breaking our routines, our brains are being exercised in a different way, and that's really good when it comes to preventing things like cognitive decline and Alzheimer's. Playful quality number 1, breaking routine. Playful quality number 2, here's another picture. This is a picture of Jean Calment. Jean holds the world record for the longest confirmed human lifespan in history. She lived to 122 years and 164 days. And she did some remarkable things along the way. She picked up fencing when she was 85. She rode her bicycle through her 100th birthday. She ate 2 pounds of chocolate every week. This is Jean when she was 20. This is Jean when she was 120. And when she got close to breaking the record, you can imagine she got a lot of interviews. Jean, what is it? Is it the fencing? Is it the bike riding? Jean, it's the chocolate, isn't it? Not quite. In fact, Jean thought it was something much simpler. These are her words. You know what Martha was saying? I never wear mascara. I laugh until I cry too often. Always keep your smile. That's how I explain my long life. I think I will die laughing. Laughter. Playful quality number 2. Probably the most important and most common of playful people. They love to laugh, and they laugh easily. But what is it about laughter? What are the health benefits? Laughter is the best medicine. Is there anything behind that? Well, let's take a look at it. When we laugh, there's an increase in our overall muscle tone. That's followed by a sustained relaxation, a sustained decrease in overall muscle tone to the tune of about 45 minutes. Why does that matter? Our blood vessels are muscles. So it's not surprising that laughter has actually been tied to lower blood pressure. And that's really important when we talk about overall health and longevity. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. In fact, laughter's been tied to less pain, less inflammation, less coronary artery disease. Coronary arteries are the blood vessels that feed our heart. When they get diseased, that's heart attack. Less cortisol. Cortisol's our stress hormone. We need it when we see a tiger in front of us. But when we're chronically stressed, cortisol starts wreaking havoc in our bodies. It starts degrading tissues, and it can actually lead to insulin resistance and diabetes. Less mental illness. This makes sense. People who laugh have better overall emotional health. But here's what's really fascinating about laughter. And I'll use a story to illustrate. So my kids, I have 3 daughters, 5, 3, and 1. And my 5-year-old Ava and my 3-year-old Mia are starting to get into telling jokes. These are kind of the jokes that you find in the back of popsicle sticks. So, and usually what happens is Ava will tell a joke, and then Mia, because she wants to participate, will tell the exact same joke verbatim. Except, sometimes she'll just change the punchline to something totally nonsensical. It won't make any sense. So here's the example. So we're at dinner one night, and Ava says, Daddy, I've got a joke for you. I say, shoot, Ava. She says, Daddy, what did the cow say when it ran into the moon? I said, Ava, I think I got you on this one. I said, of course, the cow said, move over, moon. She looked at me and said, no, I should have jumped higher. So then Mia says, Daddy, I've got a joke for you. I say, shoot, Mia. She says, what did the cow say when it ran into the moon? I say, Mia, I think I've got you. It said I should have jumped higher. She says, no, I should have eaten more pickles. And so my wife and I were around the dinner table, and we're laughing, because as parents, you laugh at your kids' jokes, even if you're pretending. And that's the key. Because the mind can distinguish between pretend laughing, but the body cannot. And in fact, most of those benefits that I just showed you were studied under simulated laughing conditions. Pretend laughter, probably just as important as real laughter. Okay, playful quality number 3, physical touch. Playful people have an amazing way to convey emotion through touch. And what is it? What is it about physical touch, the healing touch? What are the health benefits? And it comes down to one hormone, and that's this one, oxytocin. It's the cuddle chemical. It's released in a lot of different situations, from giving a hug to a fist bump to a handshake to a gentle arm on the shoulder. It's really remarkable. And what is it about oxytocin? Well, oxytocin actually probably helps with wound healing. It's actually been looked at. So people who are receiving more hugs or genuine physical touch actually heal physical wounds faster. It also counteracts that cortisol, that stress hormone that wreaks havoc when we have a lot of stress in our life. But what is it about physical touch? Well, this is what it is. It's a biological basis of empathy. And it's because of this hormone. It actually makes someone else feel like we're really there with them. And we know we can't exist in social isolation. We must exist connected with one another if we're going to be healthy, especially from an emotional health standpoint. Okay. Playfulness as a mindset. I want to wrap up by sharing a story with you that I think brings it full circle. When I was a medical student, I was on my family medicine rotation, and my mentor asked me, he said, "Anthony, I'd like you to do a house call for one of my patients." House calls still take place, not very often. In fact, every medical student should be required to do one. I said, "Sure." And he said, "Well, Anthony, you know, Miss Schaefer, she's 82. She's dying. She's dying of lung cancer. She's got 3 to 6 months left. But I want to tell you, Anthony, that she's a little on the eccentric side. She's a little wild and crazy. You never really know what you're going to get with Miss Schaefer. So when you go there, just roll with it. Just roll with it, whatever happens." I said, "Okay, no problem." So I get in my car and I drive to Miss Schaefer's house, and I'm walking up her walkway to her door, and there's a letter-sized sheet of paper. It's bright yellow. It's on her front door. And I think it's a note. It's saying, "Oh, I'll be back later. I've gone on an errand. Sorry." It's a note, but it's not that kind of note. Because when I get close to it, it's very clear what it is. There are 3 words in bold letters. And those 3 words are, "Do not resuscitate." This is sometimes placed by terminally ill patients on their door so that if medical personnel rush in, they know the patient's wishes before they even get in a house. I knock. Miss Schaefer answers. She has a flower patterned dress on. Her hair is silver. It's down to her shoulders. She's thin. She smiles. "Anthony, I've been expecting you." She gives me a big hug. We walk in and we go immediately to her living room. And we sit down and I start introducing myself. "Hi, I'm a medical student. How are you? How's your pain, Miss Schaefer? Are you taking your medicines?" I take out my stethoscope. I'm about to listen to her lungs. She interrupts me. "Anthony, put that away. In fact, forget about everything you're learning. Let's just talk and get to know each other." From that minute, the visit completely changed. I got to know her story. She got to know mine. She actually made tea. She had pastries. We shared food together. She brought out the other thing that I'll never forget. She brought out this book of what she called her book of funny poems. It was a binder. It was like a 3-ring binder, and it was all these poems that she had compiled throughout her life that she thought were kind of wild and crazy, kind of like Shel Silverstein. You remember reading? Yeah. Shel Silverstein. We read them. We laughed. But the real lesson for me came at the end of the visit. We take our dishes to the back of her house. Her kitchen's in the back. We drop off our dishes, and we start walking down this long entryway hallway that I didn't see when I walked in because we went right to the living room. We walk down the long entryway hallway, and there's silence. There's silence. She knows there's going to be silence because I'm staring at the wall. And I'm in awe. Because covering every square inch of that long entryway hallway are letter-sized sheets of paper. The most beautiful colors you've ever seen. It's like 2 perfect rainbows on each wall. And they're tacked up, and what are they? They're photocopies of the DNR order that sits on our front door. So I get to the door. Thank you, Ms. Schaefer. I'll never forget this. I'll be thinking of it. But Ms. Schaefer, we developed a rapport by that point. Schaefer, what is it about all the DNR orders on your walls? And she looks at me. She says, oh, Anthony, I just don't want them to make a mistake. And Anthony, and then she starts laughing. I'm just looking at her. And she starts laughing. She says, oh, and family and friends have one more nugget to laugh about at my funeral. I've since learned that Ms. Schaefer's right. Leading a playful life is the way to go. But it actually happens before the funeral. It happens at the bedside. Amidst the most intense sadness and hurt and tears, I've seen it, maybe you've experienced it. Even if death was inevitable, suddenly, like a hero in the night, playfulness arrives. Something is recalled, a playful memory, something the person did, a joke they used to tell. And all of a sudden, everyone around the bedside is lighter. And amidst all the tears, there's laughter. And everyone is connected. So as you go home tonight, think about playfulness as a mindset. Think breaking your routine. Think laughter, even if you have to fake it. Think reaching out, touch, feel, to connect. I guarantee you if you do, you will be sending a strong message not only to yourself, but to the world. Play is welcome here. We are healthier because of it. And in the end, it's a hero in the night. And that's not just playing for our health. That's playing for our lives, for our legacy, and for those that surround us through it all.